The silent arrival. The scanners aboard Outpost Delta 9 rarely picked up anything unexpected. This far-flung monitoring station at the edge of galactic hegemony space usually only detected routine trade vessels or the occasional private transport. So when Officer Kirix's display suddenly flashed with an unidentified vessel entering hegemony territory, he almost dismissed it as a system glitch. Running analysis on unknown vessel, Kirix muttered, his 4 slender fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The outpost's AI compiled the scan data, and Kirix's pale blue skin blanched to an almost ghostly white as the results appeared. This can't be right, he whispered, triple-checking the readings. Computer, verify vessel signature against all known species in the database. The AI's calm voice responded after a moment of processing. Unknown vessel does not match any current hegemony allies, vassals, or known independent civilizations. Historical archive search complete. Vessel architecture is 98.7% consistent with human warship design, specifically their Vanguard-class destroyers. Kirix felt his 3 hearts skip beats in rapid succession. Humans were extinct, had been for over 200 cycles. The Great Purge had seen to that, or so every child in the hegemony was taught. Yet here was a human warship, in perfect condition, calmly cruising into hegemony space as if out for a pleasant journey. Alert High Command immediately, he ordered, voice cracking. Priority Alpha. Human warship detected in Sector 17. Across the 16,000 worlds of the galactic hegemony, news spread like wildfire. Defense platforms activated automatically. Civilian vessels were ordered to return to the nearest stations. Military ships scrambled from their docks. The hegemony hadn't faced a real threat in generations, but ancient protocols activated seamlessly. On the capital world of Nexus Prime, Admiral Zex Vera stood before the Supreme Council, her tall, serpentine body rigid with military discipline, despite the chaos unfolding around her. Counselors, I assure you the situation is under control, she stated, though her inner eyelids flickered nervously, a tell that those who knew her could recognize. We've deployed 3 battle groups to intercept the vessel. It will be contained. High Counselor Thex, the eldest and most respected of the 7 leaders, leaned forward on his gravity throne. His species aged into crystalline forms, and light refracted through his semi-transparent body as he spoke. You misunderstand the gravity of this situation, Admiral. If humans have survived, if they have returned, this is not merely a military matter. This threatens the very foundation of our civilization. With respect, Counselor, Zex Vera replied, it's only 1 ship. 1 ship that we can see, Counselor Drez interjected, her feathered crest flaring with agitation. Where there is one, there could be thousands hiding in the void between galaxies. You're too young to remember the human war, Admiral. Their tactics were unpredictable. A junior officer burst into the chamber, breaking all protocol. Admiral, the human vessel has changed course. It's heading directly toward Nexus Prime. The council chamber erupted in panic. Zex Vera maintained her composure, though her scales darkened with stress. Time to intercept, she demanded. Our nearest battle group will make contact in approximately 17 minutes, the officer reported. But there's more. The vessel is transmitting. A holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber, showing the human warship. It was sleek and predatory, its hull adorned with strange angular patterns that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Weapons systems were visible but inactive. The vessel's name was emblazoned on its side in human script. UNSS Risi-Koning. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, unencrypted, the officer continued. Just 3 words, repeating. Let us hear it, High Counselor Thex commanded. A simple message played throughout the chamber, delivered in a calm, synthetic voice that somehow carried more menace than any shouted threat. We remember everything. Silent dread fell over the council. Those 4 words carried centuries of implication, of buried history, of crimes the hegemony had committed against humanity and then carefully erased from official records. How? How is this possible? Counselor Mira finally broke the silence, her normally melodic voice trained. Operation Terminus was certified complete. All human worlds were sterilized, all outposts destroyed, all arcs hunted down. We even purged the primitive colonies on the fringes that had barely mastered spaceflight. Evidently, Zexvera said dryly, we missed some. Historical archives were now being accessed throughout the hegemony as citizens and officials alike scrambled to understand what was happening. The official history taught that humans had been a violent, expansionist species whose aggressive territorial ambitions had forced the hegemony to regretfully eliminate them in self-defense. But older records, restricted files now being frantically reviewed by hegemony intelligence, told a different story. Humans had been peaceful explorers at first contact, eager to join the galactic community. It was the hegemony that had feared their potential, their adaptability, their frighteningly rapid technological advancement. The decision had been made, better to eliminate them early, while the hegemony still held the advantage. The human ship continued its relentless approach, ignoring all hails from the intercepting battle groups. Weapons locked on but held fire. No one wanted to be the first to attack, not when the consequences were so uncertain. We need to evacuate the capital, Counselor Drez insisted. If they've come for revenge, evacuate 16 billion citizens. Impossible, Zexvera cut in. And it would cause uncontrollable panic. We stand and face whatever comes. The Admiral's comm device chimed. What is it now? She snapped. Admiral, came the tense voice of Battle Group Commander Vox. The human vessel has deployed. Something. Thousands of small objects. Initial scans suggested weapons. But they're transmitting data. Screens throughout the council chamber suddenly activated of their own accord, displaying images that made several counselors physically recoil. The carefully hidden truth of Operation Terminus played out before them. Orbital bombardments of civilian population centers, biological weapons deployed against agricultural worlds, human children being rounded up for extermination. They're broadcasting this everywhere, the communications officer whispered. Every world in the hegemony is seeing this. The human vessel had now passed through the first defensive line without firing a shot. The battle group had parted before it like water around a stone, commanders too paralyzed by indecision to act. Second battle group has visual contact, reported another officer. The human ship has change. On the display, the UNSS Rikike Oning seemed to shimmer, its hull reconfiguring before their eyes. Weapon ports opened along its length, revealing systems far beyond current hegemony technology. By the ancestors, whispered Zexvera. What are we dealing with? As if in answer, a new transmission came through. No longer the synthetic voice, but a human, speaking perfect standard hegemony language. This is Captain Eleanor Shaw of the Earth Vessel Reckoning. You believed us extinct. You tried to erase us from history. But humanity doesn't die easily. We've watched from the shadows for 2 centuries as your empire grew fat and comfortable on the worlds you stole from us. Captain Shaw's voice carried no rage, which somehow made her words more terrifying. This wasn't a mission of hot-blooded revenge. It was something colder, more calculated. Your battle groups cannot stop us. This vessel carries enough firepower to reduce Nexus Prime to molten slag. But unlike you, we don't massacre civilians. The human warship had now come to a halt, positioned between the second and third defensive lines, all weapons primed but still not firing. We have only one demand, the truth. Acknowledge your crimes against humanity. Broadcast the real history to every world in your domain. You have 1 hour to comply. The transmission cut. The council chamber descended into frightened murmurs. Can we defeat that ship? High Counselor Thex asked quietly. Admiral Zexvera studied the tactical displays, the strange readings from the human vessel, the weapons unlike anything in hegemony arsenals. I don't know, she admitted. And even if we could, where there's one ship, there could be more. An entire human fleet, hidden somewhere, waiting. The council members looked at each other, the weight of 2 centuries of lies suddenly pressing down upon them. The hour given by Captain Shaw ticked away as panic spread through the hegemony. One warship, just one, had brought the mightiest civilization in the galaxy to its knees without firing a single shot. And somewhere in deep space, beyond the hegemony's detection range, thousands more human vessels waited for the signal, engines hot, weapons primed. Humanity had not forgotten, and they had not forgiven. The ultimatum. The Hegemony Council chamber had transformed from a dignified seat of power into a war room. Holographic displays showed the human vessel suspended in space, unmoving yet somehow radiating menace. 28 minutes remained of Captain Shaw's ultimatum. We cannot simply capitulate to their demands, Councillor Drez insisted, pounding a feathered fist against the table. If we admit to these historical events, we'll face revolts across 1,000 worlds. Many of our own citizens don't know the truth about Operation Terminus. High Councillor Thex's crystalline form seemed dimmer than usual, the light within him fading with stress. And if we refuse, this human vessel has already demonstrated technology far beyond our understanding. Their weapon systems alone. We outnumber them thousands to one, Admiral Zexvera interrupted. Even with superior technology, they cannot stand against our combined fleet. A junior intelligence officer who had been frantically analyzing data cleared her throat. All eyes turned to her. Apologies for speaking out of turn, but there's something you should know, she said. We've been analyzing the human vessel's energy readings. It's not just a warship. It appears to be generating a controlled quantum singularity. Explain, demanded Thex. In simple terms, it's a black hole drive. If the ship is destroyed, the containment would fail. The resulting explosion would consume not just Nexus Prime, but the entire star system. Silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. So we cannot attack, Zexvera concluded grimly. But neither can we surrender to their terms. There must be another option. The doors to the council chamber slid open, and a figure stepped in that caused several councillors to rise in alarm. A human woman, tall and imposing in a midnight blue uniform adorned with silver insignia, walked calmly to the center of the room. 4 security officers lay unconscious in the corridor behind her. Captain Shaw, I presume, said High Councillor Thex, recovering his composure quickly. The human's face remained impassive. I decided to expedite our negotiations. Your security technology hasn't improved much in 2 centuries. Admiral Zexvera's hand moved subtly toward her sidearm, but Shaw's eyes flicked toward her. I wouldn't, she said quietly. My ship's AI is monitoring my vital signs. Any harm to me triggers the singularity release automatically. Zexvera slowly moved her hand away from the weapon. What do humans want? Asked Thex directly. True reparations would be impossible. The worlds we took have been settled for generations. Shaw walked slowly around the council table, studying each member with unnerving intensity. We don't want your worlds. We found better ones while we were rebuilding in secret. We don't want revenge, either, not in the way you fear. She tapped a device on her wrist, and a holographic star map appeared above the table, expanding to show the entire galaxy. Thousands of points of light pulsed in regions the hegemony had never explored or had dismissed as uninhabitable. Human settlements, she explained. Thriving colonies, research stations, mining outposts. We've been busy while you thought us extinct. The councillors stared in disbelief. Not just a single ship, not even a fleet, an entire interstellar civilization had grown in the shadows of their ignorance. How? Whispered Councillor Mira. How did you survive Operation Terminus? Shaw's expression hardened. We had help. Not all species in the hegemony agreed with genocide. Some warned us. Some sheltered us. Some provided technology to hide our existence. This revelation sent another shockwave through the council. Traitors within the hegemony itself had aided humanity's survival. "And now you reveal yourselves with one ship as your vanguard," said Zexpera. "A test of our response." Shaw nodded. "Precisely. Admiral, we needed to know if the hegemony of today would react with the same fear and aggression as the hegemony of 2 centuries ago. So far, you haven't impressed us." "And what happens now?" asked Thex. Shaw's demeanor changed, becoming more formal. "Now I deliver the actual terms of humanity's return to the galactic stage. We have no interest in war. We've evolved beyond such primitive impulses." The sarcasm in her last words was not lost on anyone in the room. "Here are our terms. First, the hegemony will acknowledge the truth of Operation Terminus and issue a formal apology to humanity. Second, you will grant independent status to any world within your domain that seeks it after learning this truth. Third, you will share all scientific and technological advances developed since our supposed extinction." "And in return?" Thex asked. "In return, we will share our advancements, many of which, as you've seen, far exceed your own. We will establish diplomatic relations. We will trade. We will coexist." "And if we refuse?" Dres challenged. Shaw didn't answer immediately. Instead, she activated another holographic display showing the human vessel outside. As they watched, portions of its hull became transparent, revealing the inner workings of the ship. Complex machinery surrounded a pulsing core of contained darkness, the quantum singularity. "This technology can be weaponized," Shaw said simply. "We have thousands of ships equipped with it. We could erase the hegemony from existence without losing a single human life. But that's not who we choose to be." She deactivated the hologram. "You have attempted genocide against us once. We will not allow the possibility of a second attempt. These terms are not negotiable, but they are fair. We offer partnership instead of extinction." The council members exchanged glances, centuries of supremacy and unchallenged authority crumbling around them. "How can we trust the humans won't seek revenge once we've weakened ourselves by meeting these terms?" asked Counselor Mira. Shaw smiled for the first time. A small, tight expression. "You can't. You'll have to learn to live with uncertainty, just as we did while hiding from your purge. Consider it part of your reparations." She turned to leave, then paused. "You have one standard day to begin implementing these terms. The reckoning will remain in orbit as a reminder of what's at stake. And remember, it's just one ship." The unspoken threat hung in the air. Where there is one, there are many more. After Shaw departed, the council sat in stunned silence. Finally, Admiral Zexpera spoke. "We have no choice. Their technology is generations beyond ours. That ship could destroy us all, and there may be thousands more like it." High Counselor Thex's crystalline form seemed to have aged years in hours. "Then it is decided. We accept their terms." As news spread throughout the hegemony over the following days, society underwent a seismic shift. The truth about Operation Terminus caused protests and civil unrest on hundreds of worlds. 37 planets immediately declared independence. Ancient alliances fractured as species who had secretly helped humanity revealed themselves. And through it all, the UNSS Rithikeoneng hung in orbit around Nexus Prime, a silent reminder of humanity's return from the brink of extinction. Just one ship had brought an empire to its knees without firing a shot, not through superior firepower, but through the most powerful weapon of all, the truth the hegemony had tried to bury. 6 months later, as the first official human embassy opened on Nexus Prime, Captain Shaw stood beside High Counselor Thex on the ceremonial platform. Thousands of citizens gathered to witness the historic moment, some in celebration, others in bitter resignation. "Was it always the plan?" Thex asked quietly. "To force us into peace rather than destroy us?" Shaw looked out over the crowd. Humanity walked through the fire of extinction and emerged transformed. We could have chosen vengeance. Many wanted to. But we decided that survival wasn't enough. We needed to be worthy of survival. She turned to face the ancient crystalline being. One ship was all it took to change the galaxy. Imagine what we can accomplish together now. Above them, visible even in daylight, the UNSS Ritsikeoning maintained its vigil, a reminder of the past, a guardian of the future, and living proof that humanity's greatest strength had never been its weapons, but its indomitable will to survive against all odds. The galaxy would never be the same again.